Welcome to Waiting on the Trade, a monthly comics book club for people who can't keep up with monthly comics. I'm Matt Ledger.
I'm Patrick Fitzgerald Fleck.
And I'm Tyler Marifke.
This month, we're talking about Ghost Rider The Last Stand by Jason Aaron, Tan Eung Hut, Roland Bashi, Jose Villaruba, and Dan Brown. And I'm pretty sure I got at least one of those names right.
Maybe one, yeah.
At least one.
Now, in case y'all need a refresher, this volume of Ghost Rider is a hellacious battle between Johnny Blaze and Danny Ketch as the pair come to terms with the Ghost Rider's true origins.
Hellacious.
Hellacious, baby. There's so many, especially not in this volume as much, but in the volume before this, there's so many like, go to hell, like puns. It's not puns, it's more wordplay.
More directives, really.
I've been there. I don't need to go back or something.
That happens in this one, but like there's a lot of like heaven and hell references that are like, haha, get it? It's a comic about those places. Which are fun.
It does hit it pretty much directly on the nose.
I mean, the comic knows what it is, which is the reason it's good, I think. But before we get into that, Tyler, how are you doing?
I'm not bad. I'm not bad.
You're back?
I'm back. I'm glad to be back. This was so much fun last time that I thought, why not read more comics and discuss them? And this time I was smart. I poured a drink beforehand.
My God.
So
I think we all had a drink this time. It's very much like it's a comic you have a drink with, I think. So I think it makes sense.
I agree.
Sure.
I agree.
Okay, Pat. Pat's hesitant.
I don't know the definition of drink comic is, so.
I mean, it's a romp, right? It's a fun romp. It's not quite so much a thinker. It's a fun romp.
Sure. Yeah.
Question mark.
I do not have a high IQ, and if I can get through this,
while
anybody
also drinking. So
I feel like
also drinking
Tyler, per our agreement, I'm supposed to punch you through the internet right now because you said a self-deprecating thing.
Damn it, you're right.
So last time we did I blanked on the guy's name.
Fraction?
Hawkeye. I was gonna get there. Not Green Arrow. Better than Green
Purple Arrow.
Yeah, it's the one that's purple.
Yeah. Come
He
on,
doesn't
man.
need to tell you that he shoots arrows because you'll figure it out because he's got a bow and arrow.
Yes, sir. Yes, we did.
Boomerang. It's good times. So we went from one B-class Marvel hero to another B-class.
One C-class Marvel hero. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, C-class.
I feel like Ghost Rider drops a little bit.
Okay.
We also
saying a
went
lot.
from volume 2 of a series to volume 2 of a series.
That's true.
Tyler refuses to choose a volume 1.
We discussed this. It's just going to be a thing from here on out. Anytime I'm on the show.
It's a
I'm
volume
just gonna
2
pick volume
every
2.
time.
And you know what's funny? And I actually thought about this after I picked volume 2. That issue 25, which is the last one before this, is the first Ghost Rider comic that I bought at Kryptonite when we were doing Hero Clicks that got me back into comics.
Nice.
So the comic that got me into this whole mess
Is not actually in this
we're
volume.
not even going to talk about it. We're going to skip over it completely and just go into the next volume. Also, this one tells a better story as a whole, I think, than Volume 1 did, because Volume 1 ends with that comic, and it just kind of is a stepping stone. I mean, sure, you get to see the deacon, who was a big, burly guy who looks like Jesus, get the shit beat out of him with a Bible, which that in of itself is probably why I got hooked on comics. This one actually tells a pretty coherent story, in my opinion.
Yeah, this one's mostly one thing. So that makes sense. I wanted to ask you, like, why Ghost Rider overall? Like, not as just like, hey, why Ghost Rider for this podcast, but like, why Ghost Rider, like, overall as like one of what seems to me at least your favorite comic books? Like, why Ghost Rider?
It's weird. Because it's not a lie. Like, if you see my collectible shelf right now, there are 3 Ghost Rider cars. I have a Ghost Rider Dorb sitting right here on my desk. I have a couple figures that I haven't set up. So yeah, I've been a Ghost Rider guy. And I think it was because I grew up around the motorcycle culture.
That's
like,
kind of
my
what I figured
dad-
it was.
Yeah, my dad was a big Harley guy, and all of his group of friends were bikers and in bike clubs and all that. And I was always around it. And of course, as a kid, you see this skeleton riding a cool looking motorcycle that's on fire and stuff. You're just kind of like enamored with it. And so I would always was like, man, I got to read that stuff. And whenever I was younger and we'd go and try and find comics or whatever, my dad's like, no, buy like the Fantastic Four or something and stuff that he liked. And which, don't get me wrong, love the Fantastic Four too, but it was always that kind of like, I don't know, what's the right word? Brass ring or whatever, that I was like, I just want to read it. I want to get to this. And then when I finally started reading it, I got hooked because it's so ridiculous. It is so over the top and absurd. And it's not just this series either. Like all Ghost Rider is over the top and ridiculous. None of it.
No,
is...
I was reading the synopsis of like basically what has come before in the back of this volume because I bought the omnibus too because it makes the most sense price wise. And there's a little 3 to 4 page synopsis in the back of like Ghost Rider shit, basically, right? It's bonkers. It's all bonkers.
It's absolutely it's 180 degrees away from the Hawkeye stuff that we read, which is like grounded. This guy just kind of shows up and shoots bows and arrows and does his best. And then there's Ghost Rider.
Well, also like that book is so meticulous in the way it's constructed, and like even having read Matt Fraction interviews about like, hey, like I structured it this way. Like I knew this was going to come back here. I kind of knew I wanted this piece here, blah, blah, blah. Like this is just like, it's dudes doing a motorcycle race around the world to figure out if heaven's going to exist still. Like,
right. Yeah. And I think that's why I got hooked on it, is that it's just so out there. And I do like the idea a little bit that Ghost Rider is kind of one of those anti-heroes who is like, God damn it, I have to do this. But he does it anyways, and he knows he did good, but he also never gets the recognition. It's kind of like the Deadpool thing, too.
Yeah,
like Deadpool always does good, but everyone's like, oh, you crazy bastard, I don't want to deal with you. Ghost Rider kind of has that same kind of feel, where this entire comic is essentially trying to save the afterlife that only the spirits of vengeance and the people in this comic book know about. And there's a really cool page, I think, later on, that I'm sure we'll get to, where that shows other heroes. Like, they have no idea that this is going on because they're so busy, infighting or civil warring or whatever the hell. And then, or doing Avenger stuff, while one guy on a motorcycle is saving saving heaven. I think it's kind of one of those cool ways where it's like, these are the unsung heroes that Marvel knows they have, but just kind of goes, oh, they're doing their own thing though over here.
So Pat, I know you're itching to do the plot synopsis.
Oh,
I
God,
can feel
no.
it.
Jeez.
Good luck.
I know you're itching to figure out what the plot of this comic is.
I can do the plot of this comic, but I don't know if, like you talked about, there's back pages in the omnibus that went through the history, but there's also an issue in what I picked up that went through like historical stuff between Danny and his brother. Was that not in yours? Was that just like a special thing they squeezed in?
That's the same thing, I believe.
It looks
Is
like
it
it's
just
on
Flex pages.
No, there's like images with text next to them explaining the history of Ghost Rider.
Yeah, I think that's the same thing.
Yeah.
It sounds like the same thing.
Yeah, it's like how Danny became Ghost Rider and how he lost it and how Johnny lost it and then got it back, kind of thing.
Basically, I was wondering, like, did you need the background in those weird text pages, or were you just willing to go along for the weird ass ride that you were promised by Death Ninja and the Orb and etc.?
I mean, I definitely got the sense that I was jumping into the middle of a Marvel comic book series. Like there was a whole bunch of
Marvel
stuff,
ass comic book, yes.
whole bunch of stuff happening before this that I wasn't privy to, with characters and motivations, people dying, people being brought back to life, angels, demons, hell and heaven, that I had like, sure, that could happen. And there's some weird people doing some things. I'm for it. I was all for it. I knew what I was getting into, sort of.
Okay, so you didn't need the backstory though, is what you're saying.
I didn't need it, but I appreciated that they squeezed in some of it. Like, I still don't know who the Orb is and why he's an eyeball for a head, or what a zombie ninja's doing there.
The zombie ninja doesn't know why he's there either, to be fair.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
And then Blackout, which I thought was a woman for a while, with the pigtails, is a vampire that can turn the lights off.
That is my favorite scene from issue 26.
It might be 27 actually. Yeah.
27, yes. So you're like the clapper but fangs is the greatest line maybe ever written in comic
This
books.
is a good line.
But yeah, I had no idea that like Danny's sister was killed by this vampire, which is like an interesting thing that he went to this vampire to help deal with the caretaker. So I don't know. The only background I have for Ghost Rider, I'm ashamed to admit it, is the movies. That's some good Nick Cage screaming and bursting into flames. Like, come on.
He pisses fire in the second one.
Oh my god. It's been
So there is
I gotta
that.
rewatch it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's mainly my Ghost Rider information, which not great. I freely admit it. But I understand like there's a caretaker, and I understand like the general, like he's a spirit of vengeance and that kind of stuff. I get that.
But did you know he's actually working for Heaven?
No, but I feel like people didn't know that before this anyway, so I was good.
They didn't.
Also, the fact that there were other spirit of vengeances, which is a new thing in this issue, is like, okay, well, I'm with you because I didn't know that either. So me and Johnny were on the same page.
I was gonna say, I think that's one of the cool parts that I think got me hooked on this, and I think that Jason Aaron does really well, is that he kind of knows that all of us are going to be, as readers, going, "What? Wait, hold on. He's working for who? And wait, God made these guys, and not, we've been told the devil and Mephisto and all this time." And he puts you squarely in this feeling of relearning a hero, and he does such a good job of it. I think not only with this, but you could see it in Thor too, because Thor, when he took over Thor, he kind of did the same thing. And with the Avengers comic book that he took over, that there too, like here's a brand new origin that kind of takes the status quo and turns it on its head, but it all seems reasonable. Like it's not like we're just doing this to do it. Let's dig into the past and show you why this makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was talking to Pat a little bit this morning via text message about how it felt weirdly like Jeff Johns' Green Lantern stuff to me in a way, because the thing that Jeff Johns excels at is like diving into the mythology of the character, finding the stuff that works, getting rid of or ignoring the stuff that doesn't, and then like expanding it in a way that makes sense. So like the Green Lantern stuff is like, hey, this is what was actually going on, which is the same thing as like, hey, Ghost Rider's actually been working for Heaven. And then also like, hey, there are a bunch of different Lantern Corps. Oh, hey, there are a bunch of different Ghost Riders. So like it feels really similar in a way, and like also completely different. Like there's no, like Green Lantern's not riding an elephant all of a sudden in Green Lantern, but like it feels really similar in approach in that way, but like also because of just the differences between the characters, like kind of different. So that was interesting to think about, because I feel like these were probably coming out around the same time, most likely. The Green Lantern Rebirth stuff where Johns went back and was like, hey, Hal Jordan, actually, like, he was possessed by a fear bug the whole time. Didn't you know? Didn't you know that?
Come on, man. Everybody knew that. I knew that, and I've never read a DC comic in my life.
Well, like, I don't remember exactly which issue it's in, but it's something where, like, I think Danny Ketch says something about, like, I didn't completely understand it either, which is basically Jason Aaron saying, like, it doesn't matter. Just keep up. There's going to be cool stuff later.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I appreciated. Like, there's all the crazy stuff that I didn't know, but I was understanding what this current story was telling me. So it was enough.
And even where characters, like, have history between each other, it feels like you get enough of it to feel the history without being saddled with it, basically. Mm-hmm. Like when Danny and Blackout are talking, and then Blackout's talking to Johnny Blaze, and he's like, hey, we never fought before. And Johnny Blaze is like, yeah, we didn't. Turns out I'm going to kick your ass, though.
Right. They do just enough to kind of make you wish there was more of it, too. Like,
yeah, sort of.
They're like, oh, well, they've never fought before. They should do this more often. But that's a whole nother deal that we'll go into later.
So how much of this is new information? Like completely new from this? Like the whole other Spirits of Vengeance thing hadn't been done prior to this?
This is think so, but honestly, I'm not an expert. Ghost Rider is beyond my normal range of expertise.
You're telling me you don't like to read comics where people start on fire and ride motorcycles all the time?
Not as much as you do,
Just-
sir.
Just rich guys who dress like bats. Okay, got it.
And punch poor people. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
blimps. Hashtag-
Damn blimps. Let's be honest. There probably could have been an on fire blimp in one of these,
Oh my
and it
god.
would have been a nice subtle
Oh,
dig.
can you imagine a Ghost Rider with a blimp?
That'd be
Now
pretty
it's the
great.
only thing I want in comics.
You know someone's gonna make the humanity joke when that happens.
Okay, yeah, you're right. Maybe the Hindenburg might have scared people away from revisiting on fire blimps.
But
So
now,
now-
though, now it's been long enough.
I don't know. My favorite part of this is definitely all the different Ghost Riders, like all the different spirits of vengeance with their different like regional flavors is great.
So in the current Avengers arc, there's flashbacks to the Avengers of 1 million BC. And there's a Ghost Rider in those Avengers, and that Ghost Rider rides like a woolly mammoth.
Is that where because I could have sworn I've seen a flaming mammoth before.
That's probably it, yeah.
Okay, all right.
And that's Jason Aaron still. That's Jason Aaron still messing around with Ghost Rider shit because he can't help himself.
Nice.
He really
Bless
can't.
that man.
He really can't. And actually, I always liked the fact that he did the Ghost Writers at the end where people would
Yes.
send in letters and stuff. And you could tell that he was just having a blast. He's like, this is so fucking crazy. Like, this is the best. I don't know what I'm doing, but you know what? We're just gonna change the entire history. Because really, the only other quote unquote spirit of vengeance was Vengeance, who we meet very briefly at the end.
Really?
The new incarnation. Yeah, he shows up.
Oh,
he's
the
got
guy
hook
with
for
the.
hand.
Oh, is that who Kowalski is becoming?
Yeah, Kowalski becomes Vengeance, but the guy he buys the shotgun from, he was the original Vengeance. So, like back in the 90s when everybody had mohawks and worked with Venom and did crazy things.
I like that your definition of the 90s is the era where everyone worked with Venom, and also you're not wrong.
See, yeah, that one of the biggest storylines is Venom and Vengeance get stuck on an island trying to stop a drug cartel or something like that, or like human trafficking, and then they end up just taking out a drug cartel instead. It's bonkers, absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, that like side story sort of lost me because I feel like that definitely had ties to previous issues that I wasn't.
So
privy
that
to.
comes from Volume 1, yeah.
Yeah,
So I think I would recommend people buy the first like the War for Heaven book 1 omnibus rather than just like pick up this volume probably, if only because there are a few threads that come through, but I don't think it's essential. Like I don't think you have to.
no, but definitely if you're, I guess if it were me, if you're gonna do it, start where Jason Aaron takes over, because this was Jason Aaron takes over from Daniel Way. So Daniel Way wrote 1 through 20, I think it was, and then Jason Aaron takes over, and that's really from there until the series ends, is where most of this story comes from. The Daniel Way stuff kind of deals with the devil getting back onto Earth and Civil War and World War Hulk. He's got tie-ins that he has to deal with.
So many
But there's a
tie-ins, Marvel.
Yeah, but there was a Doctor Strange fight, which
Huh.
is nice, like 3 issues in. So, yeah, it's not as necessary though. Like if you're gonna do it, I would just start at the Jason Aaron stuff and go from there, because it tells just a way better story because it's not doing the tie-ins.
Sure. Yeah, I feel like I'm gonna go buy the first volume after this so I can like get more context for sure. But for what it is, this story does a decent job of just telling its story.
See, this is why I picked issue 2.
So good, so good.
So how do you guys feel about the art overall?
I enjoyed it. I mean, it's looser, but it's telling a story that's not very tight, so it fits what it's going for.
I would say this: when I picked this, the first thing I thought was both of them are going to go, what is going on with the drawings, because some of it is out there, like
There's stuff that really works super well, and there's stuff that's like,
All the spirits
Yeah.
of vengeance are gorgeous. Every single
Yes,
time anyone is
absolutely.
wreathed
Yes.
in any kind of flame, it's like, holy god, that's so
Yes.
Yeah.
beautiful.
And all the designs are super cool too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they didn't waste any time on the designs for those. But then you just have, Danny Ketch walking, and you're like, what? Who walks like that? No, nobody.
Or like
that
whenever
hunched
Danny
over.
Ketch like looks at the camera, basically like his face is a different shape. It's like, yeah,
Like
okay.
occasionally they don't draw the eyes and it's just an eye socket, which I think they're going for like, oh, the skull. Get it? Because he's ghost, because he turns into a flame. You get it? It's like, yes, I got it. It's good.
I understand the conceit of the conceit of the character.
But I was for it. I thought it was fine.
Okay.
I was gonna say I definitely could see where that would be a turnoff for some though, because it is. I don't know the best way to describe it. It's almost cartoony, but with really serious like facial expressions. But like the lines and stuff can be a little ridiculous. So I could see where the art would be a turnoff for some. I was fine with it, obviously, because I stuck with it forever. But I could definitely see where people would be like, "No, this is too weird."
Well, I mean, you're reading a Ghost Rider comic. You're there for when he gets all Ghost Ridery, and those panels
Are
the
really
best. They're amazing. When him and Danny are fighting, the blue Ghost Rider, the blue Spirit of Vengeance, and then Ghost Rider, holy god, those designs are amazing.
Yeah, and every transformation looks really cool.
Yeah,
Like if they do any of the transformations where it shows like 2 or 3 panels of them going from human to Ghost Rider,
Mhm.
I think are really awesome because like the first one where Ketch changes, the big reveal, and like his skin starts to bubble and boil
Yeah.
instead of just like melt off, is awesome. But yeah, then there's one where he's walking to kill somebody, and you're like, I don't think people's feet move that direction.
no, it's fine.
Oh
So-
no, they do. They must.
It's fine.
They have to. It's a comic. What about you, Matt?
Well, so the reason I brought it up is like I was semi worried when I saw who the artist was because there's a 2 to 3 issue arc of Justice League. It's actually JLA, like 91 to 92, where this artist is the artist, and it's probably between the art and the plot my least favorite issues of JLA.
Hmm.
I was like, oh, I don't know. But reading through this, I would agree with what Pat was saying mostly, where like some of the stuff maybe it's a little looser, it doesn't make sense, but like if there are flaming skulls in a panel, that panel's
It's
awesome.
so good.
I agree. Because there's a few things where you can just see, like, I don't know if they did it on purpose or whatever, but like, they just like leave off full facial features. Like, I just don't get it. And there's a few Solus eyes and stuff like that, which cool. Maybe you're not supposed to be focusing on that, but you're gonna see it.
There's like a page that has my most favorite panel and my least favorite panel on the same page, actually, where it's the panel where the two of the Ghost Riders are basically like making out in bed and potentially having
Yes.
sex.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
hilarious and great, like fantastic.
A hot
And,
night
like,
of passion. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Right
Yeah,
below
yeah.
that panel is a panel of Sister Sarah where like her chin is drooping down towards
Sarah doesn't have
balcony.
many good panels, just to be fair.
Yeah, I mean there's that.
She might be the weakest part of the story.
I like Sister Sarah actually. I was like, give me a hero click of Sister Sarah.
I think she's fine. She needs to get over the fact that she hasn't seen men very often, though. Like, get over that. You know all the information the caretaker knows, and you're still put off by a man.
The
taking his
caretaker
shirt
doesn't know
off?
anything about men.
The dude was a dude. He knows plenty about men.
She's seen all the horrific, like, hellscapes that the Ghost Rider's gone through, but Johnny taking his shirt off is too much for her. She needs to leave the room. It's like, oh, come on. Come
Seems
on.
correct. Johnny's hot. And not just when he's got that flaming skull.
Yeah. Not only when he's on fire, but in human form too. Not too bad. He looks like the dude from Sons of Anarchy that all the girls swoon over.
Sure.
What the hell's his name? I don't know. He's blonde and rides a motorcycle.
That's all I
the
need
same
to
damn
know.
thing.
That's all
What
I
more
need
do you
to know.
want?
But I just can't get over how good Danny Ketch's Spirit of Vengeance design looks. It's so gorgeous. It's so good.
And when he gets all the power at the end and
He
like
gets
gets the
wings.
wings,
When he gets wings,
Like-
it's pretty good.
that's pretty epic. I'm not gonna lie, it's
I'm like,
pretty
oh
epic.
my god.
And actually, I had this in my notes, and I'm sure once we start breaking this down issue by issue or whatever, the cover of 28. So the issue of 28, the cover that comes in the digital thing is just Blaze's Ghost Rider, but you can see like some blue flames and stuff. I remember getting that comic because it was a front and back cover, and when you folded it out, it's both of them riding their motorcycles, throwing chains at each other and fighting.
Nice.
And it is the greatest cover I have ever personally owned on any comic. Yeah, it's good stuff.
It's good stuff. It's good stuff. Shall we go through and make what sense we can of the story?
I think the story makes sense overall. I don't think we need to make sense of it even.
All right. Well, you're on your own,
We just
listener.
need to point out. We just need to point out the absolute blasphemy and ridiculousness that most of this story was. Well, blasphemy is not the right word.
Well, I mean, it starts
Close
with
to the right word.
So,
Yeah, it might be. It's crazy.
yeah. So it opens with Sister Anna.
Sister Sarah, man.
Sister Sarah.
I'm
Come
sorry.
on, man. Come on, man. You're a professional. Get it
Am
together.
I?
Yeah, we get paid like $1 per show.
The
For
check
this.
is in the mail.
You guys have been doing this for like a year. All right. You should have this down.
To be fair, we used to do it weekly. Now we do it monthly, so we're falling off as far
Very
as
messy.
skill set
Okay.
usage.
Gotcha.
It's rough. It's rough. Sister Sarah, thank you. All right. Jeez.
No
It's-
H's because H's are ew.
All right. Someone else tell the goddamn story.
So there's a Ghost Rider and there's another Ghost Rider, and they fight.
Oh, there we go. That's the story. We're
That's
done.
most of
Done.
it, honestly.
Shortest episode ever.
Although, also, there's a nun who becomes a ninja, an
No.
angel who's trying to take over heaven, and a bunch of weird ass like D-list bad guys that are actually pretty cool.
We're in there for like 2 pages, most of them.
Yeah, most of them die. Death Ninja.
He just
What
wanted
is
to
even
die.
your deal? I don't think he existed before this comic, though. Even he
What?
showed up. He wanted to die, and he died.
I like the line that the caretaker's like, hate to break it to you, but ninjas are old hat. And he's like, well, crotchety old cowboys aren't really great either. It was a good exchange.
Here I have it right here because I have the comic pulled up. So this is the best. This is the best line in issue 26 by far. Death Ninja stabs Caretaker, right? Sword
Yep.
right through him to the wall, and Caretaker goes, "Hate to tell you, fella, but ninjas went out of style a long time ago." To which Death Ninja replies, "So did crotchety old cowboys who spit a lot. Just shut up and do it already." To which Caretaker then shoots him with the Hellfire shotgun.
And Death Ninja's like, "Thank you.
Yeah,
I've
he's like,
existed
"Oh
for-
yes, sweet relief."
I've existed for
He does.
5 pages of comics, and I want to be done with it now."
He's like, "I want out. This is ridiculous."
Marvel Comics? No, thank you. I don't want to be in those.
Well, what about Doghead? Is Doghead a thing prior to this issue?
You know what? This is one of those ones we gotta Google, Pat.
Because, like, he walks up onto a porch and gets his head blasted off. So,
Doghead.
I believe
Marvel Comics.
they're all Danny Ketch villains, and
Except
full-
Death Ninja,
full
who I don't
disclosure-
think exists before then.
Yeah. Which
I
full
could be
disclosure,
wrong.
I didn't read a lot of Danny Ketch, so I'm not 100% positive.
All right,
But-
yeah, Doghead existed for sure.
okay. I do like how Orb is like the all-new Orb with his all-new repulsor ray.
I'm sure the orb was dead, and they were like, "Well, we don't want you to like revive him because that'd be weird." And it was like, "Okay, I'll just make a new one, whatever."
The all-new.
And here's the fun part. I actually wrote this in my notes because they say Orb dies, right? Like,
Mhm.
and
It takes
he
uh,
doesn't.
a board of nails to the eye. Yeah.
Yeah. But then
He
the
actually
place
doesn't
burns down.
die. Yeah, he just gets that board of nails.
Yeah, and also in one of my suggestions later, he's like the main villain,
Nice.
which we'll talk about at the end of the show. But
Oh,
Nice.
Jason Aaron, you beautiful man.
But anyways, let's get back to the actual plot. So,
I
Sister
just
Sarah-
want to catch back up quick. Death
Okay.
Ninja existed too, apparently. Before
Oh,
this.
good. That's nice.
I
That's
just thought maybe that Death Ninja just appeared here, but no, I'm seeing some '90s ass artwork of Death Ninja.
He's a thing. Yeah. So Danny Ketch and other Danny Ketch villains meet outside the caretaker's hut, and they the goal is to kill the caretaker, but he doesn't want the caretaker dead. I wasn't quite sure what the motivation was to do this stuff. He wanted to burn down the information that the caretaker had on him.
But the caretaker knows all the information, right?
But he like specifically
Yeah.
tells the other guys, don't kill the old man or you're not getting paid.
I think it's because he wanted to do it himself.
Okay. All right.
I believe.
Or at least talk to him, maybe.
Yeah,
That makes sense
because
to me.
that's definitely what happens. I mean, caretaker kicks all the ass, and he literally is the star of this comic by far. I mean, he stabs Blackout in the dick with a sword, with a ninja sword.
Yep.
Well, when you put it like that, Tyler, it sounds unreasonable.
But it happened. That's the best part. And Ketch stops him from killing him, right? And that's it. Then they talk, and he just freaks out and yells at him, and then burns the place down.
And like the actual Ghost Rider does not really show up in this comic.
No, at the very end. But yeah.
But he's not even Ghost Rider. He's just Blaze at that point in time.
Oh, sure. I'm sorry. I don't know the proper like when to address him as what. Sure, yeah. Blaze shows up, not Ghost Rider.
It's a whole nother thing that with Ghost Rider comics, like there's times where Blaze has more control than the Ghost Rider, and then the Spirit of Vengeance has more control than Blaze.
Yeah, like it's a separate personality.
Yeah, it's
Or
like a
is it-
symbiote, if you will. If you want to make another Venom reference, that's kind
Sure,
of
yeah.
the idea.
Okay.
How many Venom references can we sneak into our Ghost Rider discussion to hit like peak Marvel?
Peak Marvel 90s. So far 2. I'm guessing 4, and we might be there.
Okay, I'll take the over on that.
Yeah. in the World War Hulk tie-in that is well before this, Doctor Strange is explaining that the Ghost Rider could stop Hulk, and Reed Richards is like, that's awesome, thank God he's here and he's on our side, this is great. And he goes, yeah, here's the problem though, it's not the Ghost Rider fighting Hulk, it's Johnny Blaze. And he's like, that doesn't make any sense. And he says, the human host of the Ghost Rider is the safety on Ghost Rider. So it's like the safety on the gun. Because if it was just Ghost Rider, he's got omnipotent power. He's, created by things not of this world. So they have to have a human host to keep it in check.
And then at the beginning of issue 2, we get one of my favorite sequences, which is like, oh, hey, those nuns, they're not just nuns. They like have trained for combat. They're nunchuck nuns.
Yeah, nunchucks.
Nuns?
That's right.
Chuck nuns.
And then Sister Sarah slaps the shit out of that trucker. It says, get thee behind me, Satan. And if you don't know what kind of comic you're in for at that point, I don't know why you're here anymore.
Oh, she close fist punches, kicks, and then punches again that trucker. So
Yeah.
not a slap.
Yeah. It's pretty great. It's one of the better openings of a comic.
It's pretty good. It's like, oh yeah, these nuns train in combat, and also this nun is punching the shit out of this guy.
Yeah.
Now the comic begins.
Yes. And now we roll, and that's it.
Yeah, because she says her grandfather's the caretaker of the graveyard. It's like, well, caretaker.
Caretaker, you say?
You better get on the back of my bike.
Yeah, and that's the first time where she's like, oh, I can't be this close to a man or whatever. Which
Yeah,
turns into a recurring.
which is a whole thing. Sarah just,
It's like
men.
2 bits. It's this, and then when he has his shirt off or whatever.
But at that point, she has all the knowledge of the caretaker. Like what? Okay, anyways, moving on. Those nun sensibilities are driven in deep. That guilt is just, it's ingrained.
Also,
You were Catholic once, Pat. You know.
Anyway, so caretaker is dying outside of his hut that was put on fire by Danny Ketch because Danny's not nice. And he explains to Sarah, like, yeah, I called you in your dreams because it's a thing that I can do, which, yeah, sure. And it's not to save me. It's you need to take over my responsibilities as caretaker.
You gotta
Yeah.
touch my books.
can we also just point out the best, like one of my favorite lines is when Johnny Blaze goes, "You call me too, old man?" And he's like, "No." Like,
just figured you'd show
just
up because
figured you'd
shit's
show
going
up.
wrong.
just kind of assumed you'd be here.
So then he's like, yeah, you gotta save this place. Not the hut, but what's underneath the hut. It's a bunch of books. He's been writing a lot of diaries, that caretaker.
Just taking care of the books.
He's a librarian, really, when it gets down to it.
True.
Yeah, and then what? Blackout comes up.
Yeah, we get that fun fight scene.
We get the Blackout versus Blaze.
And Blaze just like handles him easily. So Danny Ketch wasn't a good Ghost Rider, is what I'm supposed to take away from this series so far, right? Like Danny Ketch was bad.
Yeah,
Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider for life.
pretty much.
Sure.
Yeah, no, that's how it is. Now, I have some friends of other school of thought where they think Danny Ketch is a better one. They're wrong.
But yeah, so Blackout gets beat up by Blaze, and then he runs into his brother. Meanwhile, Sister Sarah's touching the books, learning the things,
Getting those goggles.
becoming the caretaker.
And that's also where you get that really cool one-page look at a couple different Ghost Riders,
Yeah, I like that.
all in her head, which is pretty great. And you see Son of Satan. It's a nice little Easter egg there. Son of Satan shows up. Zadkiel's kind of there, but you can't tell it's him yet
Yeah.
because there's no big reveal until the end of this.
So yeah, Sarah comes new caretaker because old caretaker died, and Blaze is like, "Oh, my brother, Danny," and then Danny takes the door to Tibet because there's a door to Tibet down there. And Sarah's like, "No,
Like you do.
that was your brother. We need to follow him quick because shit's going
He's
down."
bad.
Yeah, he's the bad guy. In case you haven't caught on yet.
And then we get a really depressing epilogue.
Boy, you ain't lying. That's kind of the highlight of this one. Like this issue, like when I wrote my notes, it's pretty much just a story builder issue. It's all it's kind of doing is just setting up what happens.
Yeah.
But damn it, this epilogue with Caretaker is why? Why?
He's done his responsibility. He died in the line of work, being the caretaker. He dies, supposedly goes to heaven, and he gets
Oh,
torn
he's
apart
there.
by Zadkiel for his
Yeah.
troubles. Ugh.
I really like the design on those angels too, where those angels they look like angels, but also they look like they're gonna mess you up.
The big reveal, I like the look of too. I'm a big fan because it's like the exact opposite of what you would expect. It's all black and gross looking and stuff, but also, no, wait, if this was just gold, this would make sense. You know what I mean? It's
Sure,
Yeah.
I guess I could see that.
But yeah, the fact that Zadkiel shows up at the end and is just holding Caretaker's head because he just cut it off.
Yeah, they're gonna scatter his
Goddamn.
bits.
Now we know who the real bad guy is.
And then so issue 3.
Three. We're on 3.
Three.
Man, we're
28 is 3.
We're booking it, you guys. It's crazy.
Okay, can I just point out a little bit that at least this time I picked a comic that went in order.
You did.
Give me some
It
credit.
starts
here.
at one point in time, ends at another point in time, and those point in times progress linearly.
Mhm.
This is a big step forward to my guest hosting.
Yeah, so we jump to Tibet, where we're introduced to another Spirit of Vengeance, who is really awesome because he's got a donkey that he rides in on, and he turns into this badass Buddha looking thing. It's awesome with the skulls around his horse, and
It is a sweet introduction to what if there were Ghost Riders everywhere, though? What if it wasn't just America, though?
Yeah, I agree. If you're gonna do it, this is one way to do it.
what's the term of the move where he stares into the soul of the eyes and look
The penance stare?
stare.
penance. Oh, it's so good because his third eye opens up. It's like, oh my god, it's great.
Got him.
I think my favorite bit is a normal looking donkey turns into that badass horse.
Like a badass skull necklace horse. Yeah.
But yeah, so he protects a village from some military types coming in. And then Danny kills him.
Danny eats him. Danny eats him real good.
And his donkey also
Yeah.
gets it, which is really the bummer. But yeah, Sister Sarah and Blaze walk in and find his smoldering corpse.
And yeah, the whole big deal here is that there are even other Ghost Riders
Other
to
Spirit
begin
of
with.
Vengeance. Yeah, it's like, what?
And this is the first time Blaze finds out.
And I feel like that actually made sense. That the American Ghost Riders might not know that there are non-American Ghost Riders.
There's
when
a
these
lot
things
of
happen-
vengeance to be had in the world. I mean,
Well,
it makes
when
sense.
these things happen in comics, sometimes where it's you didn't know this. Sometimes it's oh, how would they not know that? And I feel like this one made sense though. The Ghost Riders are very concerned with their own shit for the most part.
Sure.
Right, because they're all acting on their own presumed deity.
Or
Right.
demon or whatever. Yeah.
That's that's what I think really kind of sets this comic like away from just total batshit nonsense, which is what it is. But it does pull the reins back and actually makes it realistic. Like you're like, okay, let's say that there were these spirits of vengeance or whatever. This guy doesn't care. He's protecting the people of Tibet. He doesn't care whether Johnny Blaze needs to mess with some zombie biker gang or some nonsense. Like it totally pans out for me too.
So Sarah's like, yeah, your brother did this. This was Danny. He's like, well, Danny, he wouldn't do this. He's like, yeah, I totally would. And he goes out and tries to find him. Can't find him in the snow. His clothes get wet like they do. He has to take them off. Nun gets embarrassed because, nuns. And then Danny shows back up.
Nuns.
Those nuns.
Always embarrassed about shirts and the taking off thereof.
I don't know why did Danny take so long to come back? Like, why did he take a little reprieve?
He was too busy eating stuff, and he was full. Had to walk it off.
He had to digest that spirit.
Yeah,
of
did I just that
Yeah, he
Ghost
did
Rider.
He not just absorbed a person, he also
And the donkey.
absorbed a horse.
An
It's
entire
not
horse.
like the other
man.
ones. It's not like the other ones who ride motorcycles. You're not going to ingest a motorcycle.
So yeah, he shows back up. Johnny tries to talk some sense into him. He's not listening.
Doesn't work.
That's when Danny shows off his Ghost Rider,
Yeah, the big reveal.
which, yeah, that design is pretty.
You've said
awesome.
you like very much.
This is very cool. I like it a lot.
It's been discussed. It's been discussed.
There are a lot of chains now that I'm looking at it.
Well,
There's a
it's
lot of
because-
chains.
Johnny has one chain for his one spirit of vengeance, but Danny's been gobbling him up pretty good, so he's got a few chains.
That's got a very great mental picture of someone gobbling up spirits of vengeance. It's good. Thank you, Pat.
Slurping them down.
I also like how the cover like shows this awesome fight between two Ghost Riders, and the only fight between them is them in human form, and it's really only a couple punches and a shouting match. But
Oh,
still,
the-
the cover kicks all the ass in the world.
The cover of this one, you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Next issue is Lore Dump the issue.
There's
Which-
a fight too.
Is there?
I mean, yes.
Well, I mean, this is
Yeah.
where I've got. I'm sorry. This is where I've got the background information squeezed in with the
Yes.
whole.
Yeah,
Danny
it's
Ketch's
basically
background.
backstory fight, essentially.
Oh, mine was just backstory.
yeah, that's how mine's built too. Mine
It's like-
shows the end of that, and then it shows the big reveal, and then it's got the whole backstory, and then it goes to issue 29.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Mine has the backstory stuff at the back. That's interesting.
But yes, it's a whole big lore dump of stuff, which is really interesting and sort of clued you in about why they have such a big deal with each other. So it's good to know. Good to know. But yeah, the next one starts at
The last issue doesn't mess around. This one goes into a little bit of a backstory about.
See, that's where I thought you guys were talking about, like the 2 pages here where it's like, yeah, I'm Johnny Blaze, and that guy, he's Danny Ketch, and like we were both Ghost Riders, but not at the same time ever. Wonder what happened
Yeah,
if we
okay.
fight. This is what would happen.
Okay, yeah, you're right. Yeah, so that is in the start of this issue. Yeah, never mind. You're right.
yeah. So fight goes down. That clue you in's like I like to think it's like the Dukes of Hazzard, like they freeze frame it. Bet you're wondering how I got here, and then they go back and they start it back up, and yeah, like the two. Oh god, the panel of the both of them like squaring down. It's real good.
I enjoyed the page a couple pages after that was like a 4-panel, and one of them is just like the mountain, and then there's a little bit of flame,
Oh,
and
Johnny
then it's
getting
Johnny,
blasted.
and then Johnny's just hitting the ground because turns out Danny's really strong, you guys.
Yeah,
That one,
Yeah,
the panel of Danny's
that
like
is-
eyes glowing right beforehand too. It's real good.
yeah, because it's Blaze yelling at him in the background, saying, "Come on, you pathetic little bastard, show me something."
And he
then that's
does.
the
He
next
does show up
page.
something.
He shows him all right. He shows him.
I like that
Which
page a
is
lot.
fantastic.
Get up. Yeah, so they throw down a little bit. One
Yeah,
blows
and
up.
Danny
the other.
kind of owns him at first.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. Johnny gets the upper hand, sort of. He does the.
I mean,
penance
eventually
there,
they have a penance off,
and
and turns out
Johnny's got more to.
penance is
Yeah.
stronger than Johnny's penance.
Yep.
Well, yes and no, I think.
Well, Danny doesn't see what he's done as being something he should be sorry for. So, like, he doesn't.
It just
feel
like doesn't
remorse.
work. Like it doesn't affect him, basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing with when Blaze sees his sin, so like, yeah, Danny's like, okay, yeah, that kind of sucks, but the only ones they show in Blaze is his wife and kids dying, and I think him actually agreeing to sell his soul or whatever. So it's because it's supposed to make you feel guilt for the bad thing that have happened.
Mhm.
So like, kind of back to earlier when I said like he knows he's doing good, he just hates the fact that he has to do it.
Yeah.
As Ghost Rider, I think this showed that like he knows he's a good guy. He knows he's on the right side of history here. It's just the fact that because he's Ghost Rider, these three really, really bad things happen, and it's just too much for him to bear. Is kind of a cool way to show it.
Family definitely knows where to push those buttons. So
Right.
Danny doesn't
Right.
pull any punches.
No, so I thought that was a cool way to show like they didn't show any like big fights that he had with other villains or this, that, and the other. The one thing that rests heavy on his mind is the fact that he couldn't save the people who mattered most to him. That was pretty neat and heavy thing to show in a comic like that.
Yeah. And it definitely does him in because right afterwards, like, you know what? Yeah, I'm done. Take it.
Yep. He's like, yep, see ya.
He's like ready. Yeah, he surrenders. He's being sucked right there. And Sarah's like,
Don't
no.
put it that way.
Sister
Don't
Sarah
word it
just
that way.
Sister Sarah just has to ruin it because she's such a nun. Such a nun. She can't handle it.
No, Danny's
Oh.
starting to eat his brother. I don't know how you want me to phrase this.
No, I mean, well, Danny's son. Never mind.
Yes.
No, you can't.
I can't.
You can't say it. Danny is absorbing
Yes.
the power of the Ghost Rider from Blaze.
There we go. We did it. We got there. And then Sarah, the
Goddamn.
And it's just too lewd for Sarah.
the nun steps in and says, no, I can't allow this. This is not right.
Put your shirt back on.
Yeah, Blaze is pretty pissed when she shows up, though, for sure.
Yeah, Blaze was into it.
So, just know this, Pat.
Yeah.
These are my favorite comics of all time. And you're just...
I'm giving you new insights, to like a new perspective to enjoy.
The whole
your
reason
comic.
we do the podcast is so we can examine different facets of these stories.
I'm just telling you what happened in the comic book. I'm sorry. The pictures
all
do
right.
better than I can. So, so yeah, the nun says, "Stop that. That's not right,"
That ain't right.
Pretty much, yeah.
and then drags Johnny away. And Danny's
Which
all,
is now officially the closest she's ever been to a man.
it's true. She just
Yeah.
grabs him.
Yeah. Grabs him and hauls him away.
And then they hide out.
Throws him in a bed.
Yeah, they hide out in the pole for a couple days. Johnny's still like, oh gosh, I'm feeling wrecked. You should have just let him have me.
Sorry. No, continue. Keep going.
I'm telling my story, man. Stop
No,
it.
I don't. Should just let my brother have me. Keep going.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes, he's trying to get him out of his funk, calls him a coward. He says, I ain't no coward. And then she says, show me. And he like curls up. and
Proves
turns
he's a
around.
coward.
It's like, shut up, you don't know. And then all of a sudden the door explodes because goddamn these Spirit of Vengeance don't know how to just open a door.
What do you want from them, Pat? They have flaming skull.
Just knock.
It's a Ghost Rider comic. You can see how many explosions have happened since issue 1. Come on.
They're scary to poor nun. They could have just knocked. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, a couple of different Spirits of Vengeance. It looks like, I don't know. There's a nunchuck wielding one, and then like Arabian Night Spirit of Vengeance, which is pretty cool. They're like, oh, come with us, quick. There's not too much time. That's the end of issue 3, 4.
And then the next issue starts with Akira Spirit of Vengeance.
Yeah. It's like a Japanese Oni Spirit of Vengeance, which is really cool.
Yeah. Which is pretty great because he hulks out, really.
Yeah, he gets like a
Like,
crazy red
he's-
demon.
Yeah, he's like this little dude riding around on a little crotch rocket. Danny Ketch is like towering over him. And then he's like, "Oh yeah, I'll show you a fucking Ghost Rider. Let's do this." And he's a big
Danny
one.
gets him real quick though, unfortunately. Do you believe Danny when he said that his caretaker killed himself? That he didn't kill the kid's caretaker, that the caretaker just committed seppuku?
Not really.
No, because there's no wound on him. When you actually look at it,
He's holding like a
Guy's just
bloody
laying there.
knife in his hand. I don't know.
I guess. I mean, that could just be the art, honestly. The art's not completely consistent in a few different places, so.
But yeah, the kid throws down, turns into a giant red spirit of vengeance. Danny turns into his blue spirit of vengeance. And then beats the crap out of him.
Yep. But, like, leaves him alive. So
Yeah.
that's fun.
Just a light sucking this time, not a full one. Just the surface level.
You just keep choosing that word, though.
I don't know. What is it?
I feel like
Absorbs. It's a light absorption. Okay, there we
Yeah,
go.
like a sponge.
Just yeah.
yes.
Oh, and this is the
Sponge
pigeon
bath with
scene.
fire.
I forgot we
Yes,
were
this
almost
is
to the pigeon
episode.
scene.
Yeah,
The
this
pigeon.
is pigeon one.
This might be my favorite bit in the entire 6 issues, actually. The pigeon scene.
Yeah, Johnny and Sarah and the two other Ghost Riders show up. They're too late. They find the kid, but he's no longer a host for the Spirit of Vengeance.
Hell, he's not even sane really at this point. He's kind of lost his mind.
A little bit. Johnny says, "Oh well, he probably deserved it, but then again, we all deserved it." But yeah, the daddy's just up on the rooftop, watching them, talking to a pigeon, who is a fallen angel, I guess. I love that interchange. It's great. He just got a pigeon with glowing red eyes on his shoulder that he's talking.
Right? And he's like, "Oh, hey, no, you're dumb, but I need you, so it's fine. It's
Yeah.
fine. It's fine. I'm gonna fight these other angels. Don't worry."
It's a great kind of humanizing. Yeah, it humanizes Zadkill a little bit, like because it doesn't even hide the fact that he's
Has no
annoyed that he
respect
has to go through these.
for-
Yeah,
yeah.
He's like, "Oh, these humans. Every time these humans."
and this one is worse than the rest, and this is who I'm stuck with. Yeah, and he just gives the whole evil plan. Like it's pretty much the here's what we're trying to do thing.
I mean, like, even in this bit that's mostly humorous, though, there's some really ominous stuff. And, like, one of the lines I called out as, like, one of my favorite, like, lines of dialogue in the thing is even heaven can be conquered in that 2-page spread where he's just, like, looking at the Black Host assaulting what's probably, like, the capital city of heaven or whatever.
Yeah. Though I will say the fight between, the Angel Biker Gang,
Yeah.
which is the best way to describe them, versus Zadkill, is pretty epic for being a quick, short hack and slash. He single-handedly destroys these guys.
Yeah, it's mostly a digression, right? And I think it's a digression for a reason in that it's like, oh yeah, those guys, he didn't really have a problem with them.
No. But man, they were mad at him.
Yeah. They weren't fans.
and he brings up like some interesting like religion points and stuff where he's like talking about, oh, when you had to go kill these people and this, that, and the other, well, I'm no sleeping baby or whatever. Pulls out his sword covered in fire and just starts hacking away.
Oh, yeah. It's the plagues. It's the killing all the firstborns of Egypt. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the angel that came to attack him. He's like, well, yeah, but I'm not a baby. So let's do this.
Guess we'll fight now?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then he
But
sends Daniel a nice platoon of angels too. So the Black Host, is that what he calls them? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he's got some heavy metal angels on his side now.
I was gonna say, meanwhile, back on Earth, a one-handed cop gets a shotgun.
Yes, and then meanwhile in Brooklyn, New York, another normal day.
A one-armed cop gets a shotgun that shoots hellfire rounds.
Yeah, and this is cool for Ghost Rider fans because it's vengeance, right? And he like all the art on the wall kind of shows some vengeance-y looking things, and he talks about, well, if this didn't work for me, it sure as hell ain't gonna work for anybody else, and this, that, and the other. But this is definitely the first issue where if you didn't read anything prior, you're gonna be a little confused.
Yeah, I had no idea. I was like, okay,
Just because of this.
a tone shift.
Yeah, and then the start of the second one.
Yeah,
This next one.
Keeps going.
That's really the only part though, where it's like, oh, if I didn't read volume 1, I don't know what the hell's going on.
So yeah, that's how he gets the shotgun, and then some dude drives him out to the middle of the desert. So are these
Those
all
keeping
agents of
story.
Zadkill, like just setting up Johnny to get blasted in the face?
Yeah, absolutely, they are.
That's the exact thing that's happening
Cool.
in the start of issue 31.
Nice.
How do we know that they're gonna do a weird motorcycle race around the world? I don't know, but it's still cool.
I mean, if you know Johnny Blaze, that you know that's going to happen at some point.
Yeah, I mean that's fair actually. Like, dude's got a motorcycle, can race around the world.
Mhm,
Seems
mhm.
easy.
Well, and we haven't got to that issue, but when we do get there, Ketch is the one who challenges him to the race.
Yeah.
So it's almost like a plan.
Yeah, but
Well-
Ketch is also surprised when the thing happens.
No, but it's definitely catch.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a
That's
dumb. Okay, we'll get there. We'll get there. But him
We'll get
doing the race is the dumbest thing ever because it kills everyone. Meanwhile, Blaze, Sarah, and the two ghost riders have gone to the depths of the Congo.
Can we just point out how we went an entire issue with these other Ghost Riders and still know who the hell they are? They're just,
They're ghost
hey,
riders.
come with us. Well, who are you? Doesn't matter. Wait till 31. You got to wait a whole nother issue.
Yeah, I mean, look at our skulls. They're aflame. You can trust us. It's the right color flame, so it's fine.
Yeah. See how ours are red?
Yeah.
We're cool.
No worries. Then yeah, they go to
Whatever.
the depths of the Congo where they meet these other two Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance people who own a city, who are the rulers of a skull city in the depths of the Congo, which, yeah, why not?
It's very Black Panther-esque.
Yes.
Except
Well,
for the
without
flaming
Black
skull
Panther.
people.
Yeah. Except without Black Panther.
Yeah, the Marionette Bois check and the Baron Skullfire. Yeah, all right. Baron Skullfire has like a really cool voodoo thing going on, which I appreciate.
Baron Skullfire is the most cool.
He really is. Let's be honest here. You can have any other Ghost Rider ever, but this guy's wearing a top hat and he's got a cane. It's a classy motherfucker. He's great.
So then we have the inevitable, like, day before war. Oh man, it's the day before war. Will they
Let's go
fight?
party.
What's going on?
Oh.
How do they feel? How do they feel? How are their feelings feeling?
But then Sarah has like visions of all the other spirits of vengeance that have died. And wow, there's some really cool looking spirits of vengeance that we didn't get to see.
Yeah, you're right. You got the John Wick one.
Yeah, the one at the
You got
bottom.
you got the Russian one on the bear.
Yep, there's one
Rider on
riding a
That
shark.
was pretty good. yeah.
the
I like
Ghost Rider
the,
on the shark.
the Hindu elephant multi-armed spirit of vengeance.
Yep.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
And like the weird like raven one. I'm into that one too. Why not?
sure. Some Edgar Allan Poe stuff going on
Yeah.
there. Yeah, that is a really cool page of all what could have been.
Right?
And like also kind of what will be, because like I think like we said, Jason Aaron's still messing around with stuff. Like there's a ancient caveman Ghost Rider on a mammoth right now. There's a Ghost Rider in like in a car right now. Like
But yeah, so Sarah and the Arabic spirit of vengeance
Yes.
have a nice touch on
I love the line where so that the power can never be traced back to its true source. Sarah goes to God. He responds with to Allah. Yes.
yes.
that is actually a really cool discussion of how they make it this thing that's only ever existed in like in a heaven hell like landscape before work throughout all different religions and regions and everything else. Like I thought that was pretty cool because it completely makes sense. There's no like it doesn't step on anything's
Well,
toes.
it's all about how you choose to perceive the afterlife. Like the gates The pearly gates, or any other interpretation, is just based on what you believe them to be.
Like how he's just like, yeah, if you were an atheist, you would just see nothing. That's like, that doesn't really make sense. Because like you'd still be there, but there'd be nothing.
Yeah, like just floating in a void or something. But you're right. It does a very good job of giving everybody that it mentions its fair due. You know, like, I thought that was probably the best part of this whole. Well, it's the main point of this comic, of this issue, is that conversation. Plus, then you see, like you said, the hot Ghost Rider on Ghost Rider action.
Yeah,
It's very scandalous.
that's right. They're not burning any sheets or pillows, which is really, really
Okay, so while I was
incredible.
reading it, Kat, my wife, Drink If You Play the Drinking Game, asked me, has the Ghost Rider ever kissed anyone? And I was like, I have no idea. I'm not a Ghost Rider expert. And turned the page like 3 pages later. Oh, the Ghost Rider has kissed someone. It's another Ghost Rider. I don't know how
Bone
that
on bone.
works. I don't really understand it, but it's
Yeah.
cool.
I'm sure because they're skeletons, you can make a boning joke somewhere.
Rattle them bones, something like that.
Whatever rating you guys have, we're putting it to the test today.
It's explicit. We got that
All
explicit
right.
tag everywhere.
We're fine. We're fine.
So if you want to go in depth on talking about skeleton on skeleton action, we can go there. We have that license.
This is as far as I got. This is the only time I've ever seen skeleton on skeleton action. True story. The silence makes me worry.
Yes,
we
me
know the
too.
truth.
No, yes, me too is my
Yes.
answer.
So yeah, they're preparing for the fight. Then we jump to Danny, who is just staring at him. I like to think that he's like looking in the window of the two that are having at it.
You think he's just? Yep, those are some Ghost Riders having Ghost Rider sex over there.
Mhm.
Oh, it's kind of
Thinking
wondered
to
what that'd be like.
Thinking to himself, you can do that?
He's
Like,
like,
do that?
oh, I didn't. Oh, right.
I thought we were just supposed to ride motorcycles and throw chains at people. This
All
is
my
some shit.
preconceptions about what the Ghost Rider is are breaking right now.
He's all about the absorption. You got to do. Come on, man. You got to have some foreplay before you get to the absorption. Just jump right to the absorption. Goddamn.
Some
Yeah.
children make him feel guilty, and he's like, "All right, I'll play your Ghost Rider war game."
Oh, Blaze. Yeah.
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 Kids are like, yeah. So we're child soldiers, and we're about to go die for you. So I don't know if you want to get up or
I
not.
don't know if you want to get it on that or not. Like,
Yeah.
because like I don't know if you've noticed, you have flaming powers, and we just have like little swords and not even armor. Not even armor.
We don't even have shoes on, Blaze. I don't know
Yeah,
if you
there we
noticed,
go.
but
They got some weird like coffee filter looking hats on though. with this
those are
one, and
skulls. Those are skulls.
Yeah, those are
then-
skulls.
Are those skulls?
They're
Mhm.
skulls.
Oh yeah, they are. They're like tied together with string. Oh,
They do look
look at
like
that.
doilies if you don't. Yeah, but they're skulls.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. It checks out.
Johnny Blaze, we got doilies and short swords. So, like, if you want to come out here with your motorcycle and chains, that'd be sweet. Thanks.
You know, your omnipotent powers.
Blaze is like, fine, God. He gets up, and then Baron Flaming Skull. I don't remember his name now. It's Baron something or other.
Baron
Baron
Flaming
Voodoo.
Skull works.
Yeah. Voodoo Baron dude does some like Riders of Rohan thing. And then Blaze shows up. It's like, oh, Blaze, you aren't going to be a coward. That's nice.
Good
Yeah.
job.
And then Danny's like barreling down with his host of angels above him. Pretty baller.
Which is a pretty cool scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the seg from one skull into the other skull, also pretty good. I'm
From
ready
one
for issue
skull to the other.
32.
Like,
Yeah, not like before. Not like before, where it was one skull and the other skull, and they were in the same panel, because that's a different thing.
That's too much. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not the same.
You got to break it up a little bit.
Yeah.
And then the next issue starts. Hey, remember that guy in the desert? Still in
He's
that
still
desert.
there.
Still got that shotgun. He's gonna be ready for whatever's gonna happen in the desert. And then back to the Congo. Shit's going down.
There's angels.
Yeah,
There's Ghost Riders. Ghosts Rider? Is it Ghost Riders or Ghosts Rider?
Yes.
Ghost Riders.
Okay.
So they're fighting. Lots of things are dying.
The
The
Baron
Baron-
guys.
Baron gets it in the back.
It's just too bad.
His wife, not a
Really
fan.
is.
But that you get to see his spirit of vengeance like take another host immediately and just keep going.
Yeah, and it explains it's actually a real important plot detail because it explains why Ketch
Danny
had
has to
go
do what
kill
he's
him.
doing. Yeah.
Yeah, because if the Black Host could have just went and done it, they would have done it by now.
Right.
So
He's
that was
gonna-
actually kind of a good plot point that they threw in there.
And then Danny pulls some bullshit and duplicates himself 4 times. Which is a new power.
Yeah,
Well, he's got a lot of Ghost Rider powers within him, so he just takes them out of him.
Yeah.
Puts him into other Ghost Riders.
He went from suck to blow, if you will.
Oh my god.
oh man. you do get the Blaze and the other Ghost Rider shit. Allah praising one.
The Arab. Yeah.
The Arab Ghost Rider. If they weren't intent on raping my soul, I believe I'd be impressed. Is the second
Yeah.
greatest line ever written in comics. And they're just standing back looking at how impressed it is.
And they're just like,
it is.
damn.
Damn, Danny.
And then, yeah, Johnny's like, you handle the fake ones. I'm going after the real deal. And he gets on his bike and he rides up to his brother and is like, hey, you want to compete to see who gets to decide what happens?
There's been 6 issues of comics up to this point, but what if we just had a motorcycle race, though?
What if we put the entire outcome on a single motorcycle race?
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Which is such an old school thing for a comic to do. So I'm fine with it, but it is.
I
it's
bought it,
just,
right? Like, I was like, oh, okay, this is a Ghost Rider comic. If they don't have a motorcycle race, why am I even here? Why did
What's
I buy
the
it?
point? Right.
But it's a horrible choice because, like, he gets everyone else killed because he's doing this.
Yeah, and the fact that Blaze even calls him out on like this big giant talking point of like you're talking about wagering the fates of all these people and all the billions of souls in heaven and perhaps the future of our entire plane of existence on the outcome of a single motorcycle race. To which Ketch responds with, "Yeah."
Yeah,
And the boys is
why,
like,
why wouldn't we? Yeah, then they race around the world. They race some sharks in the middle of it.
yeah, it's all over the place.
It's pretty crazy.
And they're like, Blaze is trying to tell Danny, you're messing up. Zachiel's controlling you. He's like, no, you don't understand. I'm saving them. It's the right thing to do. They go back and forth. And then Dan's like, you do realize while we're doing this, my copies are killing all your allies and absorbing them. And yeah, that's what happens.
But he still
Blaze
can't
is
ride
like-
for shit, Pat.
Yeah, but Blaze is like, yeah, you're right. But I'm
But
a
you
better
still can't
motorcycle
ride
rider.
for shit. It's like, no, Blaze, what? And then he gets shot. He gets shot by the dude waiting in the desert to shoot him.
Which is a pretty cool payoff, actually, because I'd completely forgotten about it at that point. I don't know if you guys had. I was like, oh man, this race, it's so cool.
Yeah, I didn't see it coming. I remember from back in the day too, to just kind of turning that page and being like, "Oh yeah, shit." Kowalski's just sitting there waiting for him.
Right, that guy. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, and the fact that it was a three issue wait for that one scene, and he gets to say "totally worth the wait." Fantastic.
But then Danny's like, oh, no one gets to do that to my brother but me.
which then he goes to absorb the power. I was gonna say, here's the difference though. He actually wins this time. Like it wasn't nobody came in to save the day. He actually got the power this time.
He grows some wings because he needs to bring the power to Zachiel. And he's reassuring Johnny the whole time, no, this is great. It'll be better now, you'll see. And then he disappears in a crack of thunder. And this is the scene that you were talking about, Tyler, where all the other Marvel heroes who have no idea what's going on, like, get a sense of
Yes,
the
I
shit
love
going
this
down.
page.
The Punisher panel's so good.
This page is the Punisher
The
panel
Punisher
sells
so
it.
much better than all the
Uh,
other ones.
It really is. But all that panel did was make me want to have a Jason Aaron Punisher
Yes.
comic. Not gonna lie. Same team, just make it Punisher. But no, I love that page. That page is my favorite.
It's a good page.
In maybe the whole damn series because it is just kind of a cool thing to do to be like, yeah, everybody knows some shit just went down.
I recognize three of
Big
those
Rick
people.
Hall and Punisher.
I recognize Spider-Man, Thor, and Punisher.
Yeah, that sounds right. I'm looking at the page, and that's what I would have guessed when you said you recognize 3.
I would have said Swamp Thing, but this is the wrong
Nope.
comic book.
But yeah, the Punisher scene is the. Did you just feel
Nope.
it? No.
Wait,
This has nothing to
Fantastic.
do with me.
is
He's
brilliant.
not the one reacting. The guy he's killing is reacting. It's great. It's good times.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Then we jump back to the Congo and see everyone's been slaughtered because Johnny couldn't say no to a race.
I don't think that him staying there would have helped that much.
I
Honestly.
mean, it couldn't have hurt.
Pat's got a point. Your main
You know,
weapon
having
just
Ghost
took off.
Rider in the same continent as you maybe would have been beneficial to a fight that you were. I don't know. Anyway,
I guess he took another Ghost Rider with him. I don't know. I don't think it would have been that big a deal.
Well, they do.
He's
They
trying
do
to-
say in a lot of this that Blaze kind of is the toughest Ghost Rider, or has been known to be the strongest Ghost Rider. But I guess the other ones never really do say, yeah, he was always stronger than us. We need him. So both points and arguments valid.
But yeah, so this is the aftermath of the good guys losing, basically.
Yeah, because they lost, and then
And then all of a sudden, from the sky, are those just angels raining down, or is it just Danny coming back?
I think it's just Danny coming back, and then like also Ghost Rider powers coming back.
Yeah.
Oh,
He
is that
says
what it is? The other
yeah, he brings back what he could, is what he says. So
So, yeah, a flaming Danny falls from the sky. Oh, is that Johnny getting like the spirit of vengeance back? Is that what we're saying?
yeah,
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
because then in the desert,
it becomes vengeance.
yeah, Kowalski becomes vengeance, and he's all pissed off about it.
And then yeah, Danny's like, you were right, I was wrong. Zachiel is bad. Took all the power, but I brought some back. Maybe it'll be helpful.
Except he won already, so
But he won, and I'm going to be fetal in this crater right now.
Let's just point out that Sister Sarah just saw a guy fall from the sky
there, yeah.
naked, and she didn't.
She
run
finally
away.
got over
So
it.
she's over
She
it
got
now.
over it.
She's over it. Blaze takes
Yep.
his shirt off. I'm out. Danny Ketch falls
Yep.
from the sky, naked. I guess I'll hang around.
Well, she saw a lot of shit in the battle, probably too. So I mean,
That's true. What's one naked dude falling from the sky?
So yeah, last panel, bunch of dead people. Danny in a crater in the fetal position, saying Zachiel won. And that's how it ends.
That's
the
it.
end of volume 2.
so my question to you, Pat, is: are you gonna read the next one?
Yeah, I think so. I'm gonna go back and read volume 1, maybe.
I think that's a good choice.
Yeah.
You said there's 4 volumes to this
I think roughly. So I was looking
in
at
total.
like the next omnibus edition comes out actually not until February, according
Oh.
to Comixology. So like book 2 of the version I got, which I think finishes the story, doesn't come out till February. So I'm waiting till then at least before I pick it up. But
Well, it just so happens that we're in February now because that's when we release this thing. So hey,
Yeah,
We're in
actually.
the future.
Oh.
so if you're reading this right now along with us, it's probably
Happy
available.
2020, everyone.
Yeah,
It's great. I'm sure it's great. We're having a great time, everyone.
it's the best. That whole impeachment thing. Wow, crazy, right?
That
Finish it
went
off.
smooth.
What a surprising conclusion.
I never saw that.
I never
coming.
thought that our government would come together and bipartisan and just like do the right
Make a
thing
decision,
Yeah,
whatever
yeah.
decision that may be.
They made
for the
one.
betterment of the country, for the people of this country. I'm happy. We're just
So good.
Anyway,
And Ghost Rider comics are out. Also good.
Also, Ghost Rider
Yeah.
comics.
But yeah, this is a fun story. I enjoyed it. It's like you said, it was. What did you call it at the beginning, Matt? I don't remember now. It was a trip,
A romp, I think.
a romp. Yes.
So like
A hellacious
we were
romp,
out-
not just any kind of romp. A hellacious romp.
So like we were out tasting beer this afternoon, right? Like this morning afternoon. I was like, I gotta pick up like a 4-pack of beer because I feel like it's such a read a beer and read the comic to me. Like
Sure.
it's if Grindhouse was a comic that also had a war between heaven and hell, like that's kind of what this is. I don't know. It's just like it's over the top nonsense.
Well, and like you say, it's not. You don't have to think too hard on it. Like it
No.
is what it is.
It
There isn't.
and like it knows what it is too. Like
There
it's
isn't
not
like
out here trying to
machinations.
be anything more.
Yeah, like Zachiel isn't doing like ploy, like political intrigue. He's hacking and slashing his way into heaven.
I mean, but at the same time, he is like he's tricking Ketch a little bit. Like there are like characters have motivations and do things within those motivations, and they're well rounded. So I don't want to go like there's craft to it. I don't want to go too far, but like at the same time, flaming dudes like flaming skull-headed dudes on motorcycles race around the world.
I think it's very comic booky. It's what a comic book is supposed to be.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Where the plot points in the story that is written just moving along. There's no twist. There's no like, oh my gosh, because you can tell that Danny's being used the whole time. It's not hiding that from anybody.
There's no pretense.
So there's no like all of a sudden Captain America's Hydra bullshit. You know what I mean? Like it knows what it wants to be. It tells you exactly what it's going to be from the start, and it runs with it in the most ridiculous possible ways. It just is crazy. I think it's what comic books should be,
and does it in a way where it brings up a lot of weird Ghost Rider stuff that could be baggage, but doesn't in such a way that you don't need to know anything about it, and it's still cool. Like I don't know anything about the orb still at this point. Dude looked cool though.
He was all new, and he had a repulsor, right?
Yeah, I think I'm planning to buy the next volume just to finish off the story also, because I want to know what happens next. It might be a wait till it's on sale sort of deal, but it's on the list. It's officially on the Google Doc.
Absolutely. Tyler, do you have any recommendations after we finish this series? If we wanted more Ghost Rider?
Yeah, so if you like this one, there is a Danny Ketch miniseries that was released at the same time as this, telling his side of the story, called Ghost Rider Danny Ketch. Really creative. Not written by Jason Aaron, written by somebody else. I can't remember who it is.
I think it's probably Cy Spurrier then, because I think that's in the second omnibus one.
Oh, really?
Like it's got Ghost Rider Johnny Blaze, Ghost Rider Danny Ketch, a few issues of Ghost Rider, and then like the mini series that's like Ghost Rider's Heaven's on Fire or whatever, which like that's so many different series to track, which is another reason to just buy the omnibus.
Yeah, and so Ghost Rider Danny Ketch Addiction, I think is what it's actually officially called, is a 5-issue miniseries that explains how Danny Ketch got caught up in all this, and kind of dives a little bit more into Zadkiel. So that's not integral to this story, but also if you really want to know more about it, that's a good one to do. Cool. And then the Ghost Riders, Heaven's on Fire is the conclusion to all this. It's good. It's not as good though. I don't want to like sell it short, but the bad news is that this got canceled. It was like a rushed finale, because like if you read Jason Aaron's Thor, that thing went on for, what was it, 7 years, something like that,
at least. Yeah.
And it kept telling like the same story. I felt like this had the potential to start doing that, because they build up some villains in the next few issues that could have been recurring people that they're dealing with, and then it just like, nope, forget all that, because Marvel said we're done. So some of it's a little rushed at the end, but
I do wonder if that's why so much of it's kind of coming back, and even the current Avengers stuff, where I think semi-recently, like Robbie Reyes and Johnny Blaze had a race in hell, like between the motorcycle version of Ghost Rider and like the supercharged muscle car version of Ghost Rider. Yeah. Which was also awesome, by the way.
Yeah, I need to buy more of the current Avengers run that Jason Aaron runs, because the first one that you gave me is fantastic, and I just need to get back onto reading those. But because Johnny Blaze is now king of hell. He took over hell. It's it's Ghost Rider stuff.
Oh.
It's Ghost Rider stuff.
It's Ghost Rider stuff. You just need to run with it. And then I guess if you like,
I want more of the orb.
Okay, you want more of the orb.
More of the orb.
You need to read Original Sin, the miniseries Original Sin, which was a major Marvel event that came out 2013, 14, somewhere around there, I want to say.
I'll Google it. You guys vamp.
So Original Sin is also written by Jason Aaron, and it does a Jason Aaron thing like it did in this comic. It kind of takes your normal original origin stories for some pretty major heroes and turns it on its head. And the main bad guy at the beginning of it is Orb.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And they even call out how ridiculous it is that Orb is the main villain. It even says when it introduces him, Orb, Z-list Ghost Rider villain. Why is he here?
No.
It's fantastic. Like, but you get really cool team ups in there too. Like Winter Soldier and Gamora, Doctor Strange and Punisher, Ant-Man and some other folks. It's cool. Like you get to see some hero team ups that you would not have expected to see, and genuine plot twist at the end. Like I'm not going to ruin it, but Orb's the main bad guy. So there you go. That's what you should read. Original Sin and the rest of this Ghost Rider story.
Pat, did you have anything that you were like, hey, I like this Ghost Rider book. This is kind of what it reminded me of.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I don't have any Ghost Rider recommendations, but reading this, I got a lot of Garth Ennis's like Preacher vibes, like the irreverent kind of badass who just does what he wants. So yeah, Preacher. I haven't read all of it, but what I have read has been fun. So, and then in the same DC universe, Hellblazer, Constantine reminds me a lot of this as well. Where I guess if you're going to start with Hellblazer, I'd probably do Dangerous Habits if you're looking for a good story in that one. It's an older one, but it's a good one about a magician who tricks the 3 lords of hell to cure him of cancer. It's pretty awesome.
Those are good choices. I hadn't really thought about jumping publishers like that, but I like those choices.
It's what I've got. So
no, I mean those all fit the tone completely. I was actually just gonna send you from like Jason Aaron's Marvel stuff to some of his Image stuff because I feel like Southern Bastards is actually like kind of in the same wheelhouse. Like it's not quite as absurd, but it is absurd, and like a lot of the art is similar but better, if that makes sense. Like I don't know, it has the same sort of like over the top Jason Aaron nonsense to it, I think. And like if you like some of the quote unquote southernness of this, there's some of that in Southern Bastards too. So the only problem with that series is that it hasn't come out in a while for completely understandable reasons. But
hell, I think I'm going to check that one out. Look at that. I'm taking your recommendations and I'm on the show.
All right, guys, did we do it? Did we have a discussion of Ghost Rider?
I think it's happened.
I think we did. I'm just happy that I suggested a Ghost Rider comic and you guys actually liked it. I was a little worried that you guys were going to be like, fuck Ghost Rider. But
I actually was a little like, okay, well, Ghost Rider's never really been my thing. Like the artist, I again was a little bit suspicious of based on some other work. So like I was a little suspicious of it going in, but like Jason Aaron also can do no wrong. I feel like.
And for me, the bar is set at Nicolas Cage. So
all right, so now that we've referenced Nicolas Cage again, I think that's going to do it for this month's discussion of Ghost Rider.
To worry about. It's good.
As always, if you want to get in touch with Pat or myself, you can find us on Twitter as @thehypnotoad and @MattLedge, respectively. You can email us at waitingonthetrade@gmail.com and find more comics-related goodness at mattreadscomics.com. Tyler, this is your chance. Do your plugs. Where can people find you online, assuming you want to be found?
All right. On Twitter, you can find me at @DaRealMarifki, at @DA_real_Marifki. And then also on Twitch, and my Twitch channel, MBRacer777.
Thanks, Tyler, for giving us this comic to read. I really enjoyed it, actually, and I'm looking forward to when the next omnibus releases so I can snatch that up.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me. I'm happy I got to reread this. It was fun for me to reread the comics that got me into comics and kind of had that same like, ooh, I got to keep doing this feeling. It was fun to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the biggest takeaway is consent is really important when you're going to be absorbing another spirit of vengeance.
I knew you were going to go.
Consent.
Man.
Join us next month when we probably won't talk about consent as much.
No, always. It's very important, Matt. You can't not have that.
Guest host Cat Prince is going to stop by and talk Barrier with us. It's a good comic.
Stay tuned. It's going to be a good
It's going to be a hoot. It's going to be a
It'll be something.